admin. Okay, like that they will give some functions to you. Public class approve request. Some functions I'm typing. Okay, not class, it's public function. Na? So void or delete request will also have void. Approve request will have something like public. We can have approve request as a string. Okay, delete request also may be having some string. So I'm having three functions here. Okay, add request, delete request, and approve request. For adding the request, let me have two variables like request ID, int ID, comma string name. Okay, I'm having ID and name of the request to add. Now delete request, I'm having int ID to delete the request, and approve request, I'm having uh, like int ID. So whichever ID I'm getting in, I will be approving maybe. Okay, so these are the functions. Suppose if I'm having, okay, now in the question, I'm writing some sample question. Okay, they will say something like handle the add request, handle the add request function, which will get input from form, which will get input from form. Okay, as ID and name. In the next line, the request may be uh, the request is triggered as get request. The request is triggered as get request from the form. So they will give you some hint like this. Okay. In the question, they will say which method you need to handle, and then what kind of input the method is getting. Okay. What kind of output the method will return. Okay. And then the input is coming from form or URL, and they will also give you the URL to trigger this function. For example, they will give you something like this. Okay, URL, the request URL. Okay, request URL they will give you. For example, they might say, okay, request URL they will give you like this. Okay, so now you want to handle this request. You are having function, some code will be written inside, that code will be written by them. Okay, some code will be written inside. Now, as per the question, you need to handle the function. So they set the function name to you, what kind of function request it will handle, then what is the parameters they set to you, and how the parameter is coming from form, that is also they set to you. Now what you need to do, okay, now what you need to do, you need to handle this request. So to handle this request in the same place where you are having this app controller, okay, you need to create one more Okay, one more class. Okay, create one more class as JAX-RS activator. This is important step. Okay, you have to create one more class as JAX-RS activator in the same package, in the same package of, in the same package of app controller. That means REST service class in the same package of REST service class. So now I'm going to create that class. Okay, public class JAX-RS activator. Okay, public class JAX-RS activator. This is the class I'm creating. I am creating this class in the same place of where your REST class is available. Okay, you must create this. Then in this class, you have to extends. In this class, you have to extends application. Okay, this application is actually from, okay, application class is from ws.rs package. Okay, ws.rs package. You have to extend this class application. Then you have to write one annotation called at the rate application path at the rate application path. Okay, inside the annotation, give double quotes, then slash, then look at the URL, what they given to you. See, the URL given to you is this one. So in this URL, you don't consider up to the project name. You don't consider up to the project name. Okay. After project name, what is there? You are having rest and subpath, correct? After project name, you are having rest and subpath. So two things are there. The first one, rest. After project name only you have to consider. The first name, rest, you have to use it here. Okay. Slash rest. Application path of within double quotes slash rest. See, no code, you no need to write anything inside this class. This class is going to be the empty class, okay, which extends application and having application path of slash rest, okay. So now this class is ready. Now what you have to do, you have to go to the main class. You have to go to the main class where your REST service is available. In that class, you have to write this one at the rate path, at the rate path. Inside path, you have to write what is the subpath. See, up to rest I had written a rest I had up to project name I should not consider. Rest I had already written in at the rate application path. Now I have to write the subpath. So I'm writing here the subpath. Okay, subpath. So remember, if you write the subpath like this, if you write the subpath like this in the class level, it is common to all the 3 or 4 functions inside the class. Okay, all the 4 functions, it will work with the subpath only. Okay, further subpath you can change, but before one you cannot change. So if you want to fix this, then you have to write it in the class level. Okay. Okay. Now I will share you this file at last. Okay, I will share you this file at last. Okay, now the subpath I am writing above the class name. Okay, now what I have to write in this function above this, I have to write at the rate get request, because they in the question they might give you what request it is, get request, post request, delete request, like that. Okay, so they said it is a get request, so I'm writing get request. Now I need to write at the rate path if I have further path. For example, they given something further. Then I can write here at the rate path. Here there is no further subpath because already subpath I had set in class level. Okay, subpath I had set in class level. Okay, va? So no need of further path. Only get is enough. Then you need to see how many parameters, like any parameter it is having. Yes, parameter it is having. Okay, va? Parameter is there means you have to write producer. Parameter is there means you have to write consumes. Okay, va? Return type is there means you have to write produces. Parameter is there means consumes. Return type there means produces. Okay, va? Now parameter is here. So you have to write what? At the rate consumes. At the rate consumes. Inside at the rate consumes. Okay. You have to write media type. This and all you will get in suggestion. You should use control space bar in the exam. So you should get suggestion. Okay. Media type dot. All this you have to import from ws.rs package only. Don't import from any other package. Okay, because in my exam I did these mistakes. I imported from other packages. Then I did not got this media type inside. I got consumes, but I did not got the media type inside. Okay, va? If you import consumes and produces from ws.rs package only, you will get this media type. Okay, media type dot application underscore. Okay, so what from where it is consuming? From. Okay, then URL encoded. Okay, URL. Okay, form URL encoded. ED. Okay, form URL encoded. Now anything it is producing as output, like void only it is producing as output. In question also they did not mention anything about return type output. So no need to write produces here. Okay, va? Only get and consumes you have to write. Understood? See, I'm writing here. No need to write produces here since no return type from function and not intimated in question. Okay, va? Understood? About this first function, understood? One more I need to write. See the parameter int id is there, na? Int id and string name. These two from where we are getting? We are getting these two from the form. Okay, va? From the form. So that's why I return application form URL encoded consumes. Consumes means taking input. Now you have to write here. Okay, you have to write here at the rate. Okay, form param at the rate form param of what is the name which is sent from the form. The name is id. Mostly it will be in the same name. Suppose if they give different name in the question, then you have to use that name here. Okay, va? Then here I have to write at the rate form param. Okay, form param of, you have to write name. Now this function is completed. Okay, that means as per the question, this function is working on the get method. So I had given the get request. Second, this function doesn't have any additional subpath. Subpath I already said in the class level. So it is applicable to all the functions here. So I'm not writing the at the rate path here. Then this function had input to consume. So I'm writing consumes. From where it is consuming? It is consuming from the form. So I can write media type dot application underscore form URL encoded. In exam, what you can do, you can type media type and then give control space. So everything available for the media type will list to you. Just type FORM form. Okay. Like with respect to form, what are all there? Two, three will be there. That will be listed to you. You can then pick this application form URL encoded. Okay, va? Then it will work. And there is no return type. So I am not writing any producers. Is this function understood? Clear? Student, can you say in the chat, is this function okay to you? Clear? Can anyone say, is this function clear? Okay. The first function add request. I had done for the sample question only. You may get any question. Okay. If you have query, you just ask me now. Okay. Think chat. Okay. I think chat is disabled, maybe. I will check it. Okay, anyway, I hope so it is cleared. Then see, first I have to create the JAX-RS activator which extends application. Okay, which extends application. Then I have to write at the rate application path of REST, which is after the project name, which is after the project name. Okay, in the URL, which is after the project name. Then I use the subpath above the class name at the rate path of subpath. Okay, this is applicable to all the functions inside the class. So inside the class, I have written get method to get the request and then consumes media type application form URL encoded for consuming the form based input. Then form param I am giving to specify this is the name which is coming in the form. Okay, this is the name which is coming in the form and I am assigning to ID here. Okay, then second one, sample question I will write here. Okay, they might say handle delete request in delete request method get the parameter id from the URL. Get the parameter ID from the URL. Okay. Then they might give you the path. Okay, this path they will give you. I will use the same path here. They are saying you have to handle the delete request and then see this line. I will bring it down so that it will be visible. Okay. They are saying handle the delete request in delete request method. Get the parameter ID from the URL. Request URL. They are saying some URL and after subpath, suppose for example, you are having ID here. Okay, after subpath you are having ID here. Okay, va? So you are having additional path here. See, additional path here. Already slash rest we are using for @application path, and then slash subpath we had used for @path above the class name. Okay, now we are having one more path. Okay, wow. So this one more add-on path I should write here. But before that, they said delete request now, so I should write @delete delete. Then we should write what is the path? Additional path. Okay, that additional path I'm writing here. It is ID. So I can say flower brace of ID. See, flower brace of ID, why I'm saying that is to get the value, and exactly I'm saying this name, which is in this name they will give value in the URL. Okay. For example, the sample URL will be okay. Sample URL will be like this. Here they will give 10. Okay. This 10 will be in this ID. So I am receiving that ID. Understood? Clear? This 10 will be in this ID. So I am receiving that ID exactly here in the @path. This slash here is an optional one actually. Okay, you can have slash, or else you don't want to have slash, it will put slash here. Okay, well, now you are having data which is consuming from the URL, which is consuming from the URL. I'm writing here if data consumed from URL, then no need to write consumes. Okay, if data consumes from the URL, okay, consumed from URL, then no need to write consumes. Okay, wow. In question, they will also say about the return type. Okay, they will say the function will return, okay, will return XML data. The function will return the XML data. Suppose if they say like this, okay, you have to use the XML data in the return. And see, there is a return type called string. There is a return type called string. So what you have to write here? You have to write produces. You have to write produces @PRODUCES produces. Okay, wow. Inside produces media type dot application. Okay, which one we need URL na? Sorry, which one we need XML na? So application underscore XML. Okay, application underscore XML. So now we are saying it will produce a string which will be taken as XML, which will be taken as XML. Okay, wow, understood? In the question, they will say what you will produce, what you will produce. Okay, I will give you one more sample. Okay, in approve request. Okay, in approve request, I will give you now. One small correction. If it is a add request na, if it is a add request na, they will say this is a post data. This will post the input, post the input. So you should use @post, @post. Okay, wow. The correction is when you are doing add operation. See, I will write here for your understanding. Okay, annotations and DB operations. Annotations and DB operations. @get generally. Okay, generally it will be not mandatorily. Okay, @get means used to retrieve the data. Then @post used to insert the data. Okay, va? Then @delete used to delete the data. Then put put used to update the data. Understood? So now the first question is saying add request now. That means we are adding something to the database. Okay, so it will be a post input. Okay, a post input. So we are writing as per the question, okay, sample question, we are writing @post in the first method. Then in the second method, they are saying delete request. So I am writing @delete. Okay, wow. Now in the third and second method, still little more to complete. See, I'm receiving this ID. I'm receiving this ID from the URL path, correct? URL path. Then what annotation I have to write in the parameter? Previously, I returned form parama. This one, why I return? Because I received this input from the form. Okay. But here what I will write? Here what I will write? I am receiving the input from the URL. I will write. So what I will write? URL path. From URL path I am receiving na. So I should write path param. Path param of ID. Which ID? See this path @path ID. Line number 35 we are having na. @path ID. That ID. Okay. @path param of ID. So that ID will be assigned to the right side ID value. Okay, ma. So I have written @delete, then @path of ID, then @producers. Why I written producers? Because it will produce the output. See, the return type is string. Okay. And in the question they said it will produce the XML data. So that's why I'm writing @producers. Okay, ma. You understood this one, na? Okay. I hope so you understood this method. Okay, I return delete path produces and @form param. Sorry, @path param. Path param. Okay. Path param, why I return? Because I am receiving the input from the path. Previously I return what? Form param. Why I return form param? Because I received the input from form. In the question they given post input from form as ID and name. So it is receiving the input from the form. That's why I am using the form param. Okay. Now for this approve request, okay. For example, I want to update the existing row in the database. So I will use put method in the question, sample question. They will say sample question. They will say I will use one more here like int ID and status. Status I want to update. Okay. Int ID and string status. Okay. Int ID and string status I want to update. Okay. Now sample question. They will say update, handle the update operation, handle the update operation in approve request, method where ID and status is given in URL. Okay, where ID and status is given in URL as the URL I will have. For example, I'm going to have these two lines. The request URL will be something like subpath slash subpath and then slash approve, then question mark ID equal to, here you are having some ID value, ampersand, and then status equal to status value. Okay, like this you are going to get some values. The example path, the sample URL, that means request URL, I said the example URL, I will say it will have same approve question mark ID equal to 10 ampersand status equal to the status of it. Status may be uh, approve request true. Status may be true. Okay. So now this is the sample URL you are getting in. For this, you want to write the annotations. Now in the next line, they might say this method will return a plain text. This method will return a plain text. They spoken about the return type also. Okay. Now what are all the annotations you will use? See, handle the update operation. Update operation, they said. Update operation means what you write? At the rate, put. At the rate, put. So first one matched. Second one, they said where ID and status is given in URL. So what is the path? Up to rest you already mapped in application path. Then subpath you mapped in path. Then further you are having approve na. So that one you have to write it here. So at the rate path of, okay, APPROVE approve. Same approve I'm writing. See, I'm not writing this ID and status here because it is having question mark. It is having question mark. It is not having slash. If it is having slash now, I will write something like slash. Okay, I will write something like slash flower brace of ID. This like I will write. Okay, but it is not having slash. It is having question mark. Okay, question mark means you no need to write like this. Okay, only approve. But what you have to write? Question mark means here in the parameter what you have to write at the rate. Previously we used form param for form input, path param for path input. This is query param. You remember question Q is coming. So query param Q, first letter. Okay. Question mark query. Q Q. You remember like this. Okay. Question mark means you have to write QUERY query param. Okay. Query param of, what is the param name? ID. Okay. The param name is given in URL here. Okay. ID. Then at the rate QUERY query param of. Then what is the second query param name? Status. Status. Okay, va? Suppose if they give here stat. Okay. If they give here stat, then it should be stat only. Your input may be, you are taking it as statu status, but in question they given stat only, right? In the URL. So from the URL you should take the query param of stat. Okay, va? Now this one we have written, the query param we have written for question mark. And then do we have to write consumes here? I already said consumes only for form based consumption. It is not for URL based consumption. Okay, so I'm writing no need to write consumes for URL based consumption. Okay, URL based consumption. Now, what about the return type they are having? They said this method will return a plain text. Okay, plain text. And here there is a string. So you should convert the string into plain text for the correct input. So I have to write what? At the rate produces. Return type means produces at the rate produces of. Okay, I should write media type dot application. Okay, not XML. Media type dot application underscore. Okay, text plain, text plain, text plain. Okay, so I'm writing produces media type dot application underscore text plain, not application underscore text plain. Directly you are having text plain. Okay, so we can write like this media type dot text plain. Okay, if it is coming with application also fine. If it is not coming with application, you can use this text plain. Okay, either you can use application and application dot text plain, or else directly you can use text plain, but definitely you will have some options called text plain. Okay, this text plain you can use. And one more thing I want to say, whenever you are choosing text plain or some other like application underscore JSON or application underscore form URL encoded or whatever it is, you take string type. You take string type because here it is string. In the suggestion also, you will get two types. So you should get string type suggestion only. Okay, string type suggestion only. Okay, because your return type is string. That you have to remember. Okay, so I'm saying at the rate put for update, then at the rate path for the additional subpath, then at the rate produces for the return type which I need to map for the question. Okay, now query param for the question mark based input. Now next function let me have to display something, like I will have public. Okay, public. I will say same string. Okay, uh, get all request, get all request. So this is having no parameter, but it is returning all the requests from the database, and it is returning in the string format. Okay, or it may return in the for example, uh, there is a class called user request. So it may return the user uh, list of user list of user request list of user request type. Okay, see, I'm saying for an example, it may return list of user request. One user request will be one object. Okay, so all the user request in the database table will be list. Many user request is there now, so list of user request. So something like this it is returning. Now here they may give you sample question. Handle handle the uh, get request handle the get request in get all request in get all request method. Get all request method, then no input given. Okay, but they will say something, but they might say you the URL. Okay, this URL I'm having here, in this approve will not be there. Just they will say up to subpath. Okay, they might say up to subpath. So now They will also say about this will return JSON formatted data. This will return JSON formatted data. So now we need to write for this. So what I have to write? At the rate, first to get method. So at the rate get. Then second, at the rate path I have to write. Think and say path I have to write. No, because at the rate rest already I had given in application path, and at the rate subpath I had given in the class level. Okay. In the class level I had given the subpath. Okay. See, once again for subpath, this part before slash is optional. I am not making the slash. Okay. For application path also it is optional, but I had made it there. See, for application path also the first slash is optional, but I had made it here. For path, no other path, I had made the slash. For application path, I had made it. For path, I had not made it. Okay, the first slash. Now, do I have to write the path here? Actually, I no need, because already I had rest and subpath written. Okay, there is no ID and extra things also here. So no need to write path here. Now what I have to write? There is no parameter also to write something inside the parameter. Okay, but they said this will return a JSON formatted data. So I will write at the rate produces a consumes a produces a consumes a. I should write at the rate produces produces produces, then media type dot application underscore JSON application underscore JSON. This is for JSON formatted return type. A string can, and whenever you use something like this, okay, in the suggestion, you have to pick string type of application underscore JSON. String type of application underscore JSON. Okay. So actually, you will get two suggestions. You pick string type. String type is most safer side. Suppose if it is not working, then you can go for the other one. But generally, you pick the string type. Okay. Now you are having get method and then produces you are writing because you are having the JSON formatted return type. Okay. Now any other thing you have to write here? At the rate get I have return produces return. Here only input is from URL, so no consumes, but produces I have return. Then here here input is there and it is also from URL, so consumes not required, but produces I have return because return type is there, string. See, whenever the return type is having something, string or object, you will have produces. Okay, whenever the return type is void, you won't have produces. Whenever the input you are having, okay, parameters, you check whether the parameter is from URL, question mark or path, okay, anything is fine, but whether the parameter is from URL, then consumes not required. If the parameter is from form, okay, then consumes required. Okay, then you are having the parameters now in just near to the parameter, you have to write either QueryParam or question mark based, path param for slash input based, and form param for form input based. That means with near to the parameter, you will write either query param or path param or form param. Query param or path param or form param. Okay, va? Then in the first function, okay, in the first function, we are having void. So no producers I had returned, but data consumed from the form. So consumes I had written. Then it is a post method they given. So I written @post. Okay, ma. Then why I have not written path? Because already the path is matching. There is no additional path given to me. That's why I have not written path here. Okay. Suppose you are not writing this path in the class level means you have to write this path everywhere in the function. Okay, everywhere in the function. But I have written this path in the class level. So only further path I will write. Further path I will write. Okay, like this. This approve and all further path. Okay, further path. So now I had teached you @post, @get, @delete, @put. Okay, four operations. And @consumes, @produces. We will list all those annotations here. Okay, for your understanding. Annotations. So first @get, then then @post, then @put, then @delete. Okay. Then what I return? @produces. Okay. In produces I had written media type dot application underscore JSON. This is one. Then next what I return? The same produces itself. Produces application underscore XML data. And again produces text plain. Then I return consumes media type dot application form URL encoded. Then I have written um, path param. Okay. Then I have written path param. Then query param. Okay, query param. Then I have written path param, query param, and then form param. Form param. Okay, va? There is one more. It is called default value. Okay. Default value, V capital. Okay, one more is called default value. You can assign some default value like this. Okay, even 10 also you will give it in double quotes only. Okay, 10 number also you will give it in double quotes only for default value. For an example, I can say default value can be like this: public void fun1 is a function int id. You can have default value of 10. So what is the default value of id now? The default value of id is 10. Understood? You can also have here for example, something like form param, form param, form param of id. Suppose the input is not coming from the form, you can have the default value as 10. Suppose the input is coming from the form, you can have the that value here. Okay. So it depends on. Okay, it depends on. I'm writing only as of now default value. This is an example, okay, for default value. Where you will write default value? To set the default value for function parameters. Function parameters. Okay. So what else I have written? Get to, post to, put to, delete to, then produces three, consumes, then path param, query param, form param, then default value. Then what else I have written? I have written application path and path. Okay, that is most important. That should be actually first. That should be very first. Application path and then application path and path. Here I am writing one comment. All should be imported from ws.rs package only. All should be imported from ws.rs package only. Application path. Okay. Application path, then get to, put, post to, put to, delete, then produces, consumes, then path param, query param, form param, default value, then any other annotation I used. That's it. One more thing is I extend the class. I created one class. That is this one. I created this class. Okay. I will write it in the same line. JAX-RS activator you have to create with extends keyword. Extends application. Okay, va? Extends application. So application path, then path, these annotations. Okay. These are the REST service annotations. I hope so. Now it is clear to you. I will write comments here where we will use all these. Okay. Path can be used. It can be used above the class or function. Above the class or function. If it is used above the class, then it will be applied to all the methods. I will bring it in the next line. If it is used above the class, then it will be applied to all the methods in the class. Then get to where we will use generally we will used for retrieving the value. Then post where we will use generally we will use for inserting the value. Put where we will use for generally we will use for updating the value. Delete. Why I'm saying generally? Because we can change the way we are using also. But We won't actually. Okay. We will use delete for delete only, put for update, post for insert. Okay. Post for insert and get for retrieving. Producers where we will use when the function returns something. When the function returns something, you can use the default as you can use the default option as application JSON if the function returns something. Okay. Default one you can use it as application JSON. But as per the question given, decide the producer's type. Okay. By default, you can use this application JSON, but if in the question, if they give, you need to return an XML document. So you can use application XML. In the question, if they give, you need to return a plain text. Then you use text plain. In the question, if they give, you need to return a JSON document, JSON object. Okay. Then you use JSON. It depends on. Okay. Suppose if they did not given anything and there is a string return type. Okay. If the function had some return type and they did not give anything in the question, then you can use application underscore JSON as the default option. Okay. Then consumes where you will write when the input need to be taken. Okay. When the input need to be taken in parameters from form, you will write consumes. When the input need to be taken in parameters from form, you will write consumes. Then path param where you will write when the input is in URL path. Example, I can say you one example. This one. This one I will say you. Okay. Example, this one. Then query param where you will use when the input is in URL with with question mark with question mark. For example, here slash will not be there. ID equal to ID like this. Okay. Then next one where you will use form param when the input is from the form submission. When the input is from the form submission, you will use form param. Then default value already I set. Okay. So I hope so I had covered whatever is required for a service. And remember in exam, okay, in exam, before testing REST service, you need to start the server. Otherwise, your test case will fail. So in exam, what you will do? You first have to start the server. Okay, JBoss server. You need to start the JBoss. I will write JBoss server. Otherwise, your test case will fail. Okay, va? In exam, you have to first start the server. Then only you have to test the code. Okay. You might be running JUnit test case for testing the the REST class. Okay. Example, what class? You are having the class name called app controller here. App controller dot class. Okay. You might be running JUnit test case for testing the REST class. REST class is enough. Okay. They will say you some JUnit test. You have to run that file. JUnit test case. I will say here file name and package name will be given to you. File name and package name will be given to you. Okay, wow. Need to right click the file and run as JUnit test. Okay, run as JUnit test. First, they will give you file name and package name. You have to reach the respective file. Then, okay, you have to right click the file and give run as JUnit test. But make sure, note, make sure before testing REST service, you need to start the JBoss server. Otherwise, your test case will fail. Okay, wow. How will you start the JBoss server? That also I will say. How to start the JBoss server. Don't right click on the project. Okay. Don't right click on the project. Go to server tab. Right click the server and start. Last one is how to run the test case. Okay, wow. See, don't right click the project and add the project. Don't right click the project and give uh, run as web application. Okay, or run as run on server. Run as run on server. Don't give. Don't give. Okay, you just right click the server. Okay, and start. That's it. Already the things are added in the server. Okay, that is how it is there in my exam. Suppose if it is not added, then you have to add. So then you can right click the project, run as run on server, you can give. Okay. If it is already added, then you should not right click the project, directly go to the server tab, right click, start running. Okay. Right click the server and start. In my exam, I had right click the server and given start only. Okay. It is already added in the server. Right. How to run the test case, I said. Before running the test case, you have to start the server. How to start the server also, I said. Okay. Now the annotations also I had consolidated as a summary here. Then one example I given here. Okay, example I given here. Here I will type example. Okay, example. Example I given here. I'll say package name and respective class name will be given to you in question. Okay, will be given to you in question. Package name and respective class name will be given to you in question. This is an example. Okay. Anything other pa? Generally, this REST service class will have application scoped request. Okay. Sorry, will have request scoped request. Request scoped request. Generally, not mandatorily. Request. But this is not the chapter I want to cover you. But anyway, I'm saying generally it will be request scoped. But I'm commenting this. Okay. You no need to write but I'm saying there is a variety of scopes. One is request scope, application scope, session scope like that. So it will be request scoped actually, but not required here. So I'm just removing it. Okay. Hmm. So I hope so you are clear, right? One example, consolidated annotation. Then in exam, how to run this. Okay. This file, I will try to give you in chat actually. We'll go to chat. Chat is not opening. I will stop sharing the screen. Okay, I will stop sharing the screen. I will check the chat, what is happening. Actually, I couldn't able to open the chat. So,
So, sir, am I audible, sir? Balaji, sir.
sir, who is this?
I'm Dinesh, sir. Sir, now I
Dinesh,
enabled
sir.
chat. You can check.
Chat enabled, huh?
Yes, now enabled,
Okay,
sir.
okay. I will, students, I will give you that file in chat. But students, just type to me like, did you understand these things? Like the rest one I had teached you right now, na? Those annotations, did you understand? Any queries, pa? You just type. I will try to address your queries. In the REST service, I will try to address your queries. Uh, if there is any query, you try to say me now. Any queries, okay, any queries, I will try to say it to you. Okay, QueryParam. Okay, QueryParam where you will use? You will use the QueryParam when you have a question mark. In the URL, you should have a question mark. Okay, when you have a QueryParam, I will share the screen. Just a minute. See here, when you have a query param, okay, the URL will have question mark like this. Question mark like this. Okay. In example, I can say you, for example, Here I need to receive the ID value and then the status value, ID value and then the status value. In the URL, how they given? Question mark they given, then ID equal to some value, stat equal to some value they given. So this two I need to receive. So how to receive? I have to write query param of what is there in the URL, that variable name. Okay. Then I have to write query param of that variable name stat. When you are having slash here in the URL instead of question mark, then you should use path param. Okay, va? And one more student had asked me about test cases. Okay, test cases. So in exam, in every question, they will give you this is the test case you have to test. Okay, they will say package name. Okay, and then in the package name, they will say particular file name, particular file name. Okay, so that particular file name you have to right click and run as JUnit test you have to give. But before giving that, what you should do for REST service, you have to start the server, JBoss server. Okay, then only it will work. So how to start the JBoss server? Don't right click on your project. Right click the server, right click the server and then start it. Right click the server and then start it. Okay, server tab will be below now. That server tab, you start it. For one more, like few of you asked about JAX-RS activator. Okay, this class now you have to create on your own. Where you will create this class? Already they will say one class now. That class will be in one package. For example, demo package. Okay, va? Demo.service package. For example, you have to right click the demo.service package, new class. Okay, va? Right click demo.service package and new class you have to give. What is the class name? You create the class name as JAX-RS activator. Then after creating the class, you extends application. Application is the class which is from ws.rs package. WS means web service, REST service. Okay. ws.rs service. Okay. Then you have to use @application path. @application path. This @application path. Okay. This you will use for having the path, which is after the project name, which is after the project name. See, students, actually, what I'm trying to cover, okay, I will show you now. See, actually, the demonstration and the live project will take little bit of more time. Okay, that one we had actually covered in the regular classes. Now, what I'm trying to cover, according to REST service, what are all the annotations we have to use? For example, in your exam, you will be mostly using annotations only. Okay, mostly using annotation only, not 90% of, like 95% of code, they will be typed. They will be typed. So that 5% of code you have to finish. So in that case sense, focusing more on annotation is important than typing the rest 90% of code. So I hope so. In in that sense, explaining like this, I can cover you more annotations and in pretty clear way. Okay, that's why I had taken the session like this. Okay, now how to import the project. Okay, in exam, if you give file, import the project, na file, import. Okay, that is a file menu. Then import will be there. Okay, inside file menu, import will be there. When you click on import, you will have Maven project. Okay, Maven project file, import, then Maven project, existing Maven project. First, you have to click on file, then import, then Maven project, existing Maven project. Then you can browse. While browsing now, when you click browse, it will be available in your root folder. Okay, it will be available in your home folder. Okay, exactly in that folder only it will go. They will give that location where that file will be available and all they will give. That file you pick and import. Okay, I hope so. You will get two projects. You can import both the projects at a time. Okay, file import. Okay, file import, and then you can use existing Maven project and import the project. Okay. See, I will open Code Studio if required. Just a minute. Hey, wait, I will open Code Studio since you are all asking. I'll open it. Wait. I will share my screen. Code Studio. It is opening. Wait. If it is happy to you, I will show you in Code Studio only. Okay, just a minute. Share. Okay. See my Code Studio. I think it is visible. Okay. So in Code Studio, okay, this is how we have to create JAX-RS activator class. Okay. Uh, I think I'm in. For example, this is the REST controller which I'm having. Okay, this is the REST controller which I'm having. I had given the sample path to you. Okay, sample path to you. Exactly this project I will open. Okay, the project name is REST service. Here is the project. Okay, in this project, in SRC main Java, see there is a REST controller. For in your exam now they will give you REST controller class. Okay, REST controller class. In this class, you will have multiple functions. Okay, for an example, here two functions are there. Okay, then you are having @get method. In your exam, you'll have all the three, four methods. For an example, here I had typed @get method for you. Since you are asking, I'm just explaining with Code Studio. Okay, and I'm using path param here and query param in the second one. Okay, query param in the second one. Okay, so what you have to do here, you have to right click the project here. Okay, class, new class. Okay, in this class only you have to type this JAX-RS activator. Okay, JAX-RS activator. Then, okay, JAX-RS activator. Okay, then after typing this, you will get this class actually. Okay, then you have to type this extends application. Okay, after that you have to type @application path. See, there is nothing inside this class, nothing inside this class. No need to type anything inside. Just save it. This class will automatically link with your REST class. Okay, in REST class you have to write only @path. Okay, va? So here, then you will write @produces, consumes, everything above the function name as required. See, for example, here I will show you @produces, PROTU. I can use control space. I'm getting two package now. See, I should import from which one? I already explained you, right? I should import from ws.rs package only. Then I should type media type. See, I'm getting media type now. Okay, java x.ws.rs.core media type dot. See, what is the default one I said you can use JSON. When you type JSON, see, JSON is coming two. One is string type, another one is media type. Which one you have to choose? String type. Okay, string type. So this string type I'm choosing. Okay, va? So this is how you have to write the producers. Similarly, now consumes is not required here, but I will explain you how to write the consumes. So you can write consumes, okay, then, okay, consumes, then media type dot. I said form now. If you type form, see you are getting form URL encoded and string type you have to do. So this one I am speaking about form string type import. Okay, form URL encoder from string type. But this one not required now because I'm taking the value from the URL. Okay, wow. Right. I'm commenting this too. Okay, for your understanding, I had typed here. Okay. Then in exam, how to start the server? You have to go to the servers tab below. Here you have to right click, you have to start. But generally, how we will start? We will start like this generally. Right click the server, run on server, we will give. Okay, wow. I'm using 7.1. In your exam, it may be different version. Okay. See, uh, anyhow, since you asked, na, uh, I just started my uh, project actually to just show you. Okay. See, you are getting hello world, right? What is the path I need to give now? So I need to give some path like 8080 slash rest service slash rest slash ABC. Okay. See here I have not used the slash ABC at class level. That's why I used in inside. Okay, va? If I used in class level, then I don't want to use slash ABC inside. Slash rest where I used slash rest I used in this JAX-RS activator class. See slash rest. How I will separate this up to this is project name. See up to rest service is project name. After that slash rest. After that slash ABC. So project name you should not include. Okay, va? So slash rest slash ABC. Then what I should give? I should give X and Y value. So I'm giving you some X and some Y value. See, I'm getting 30 here. This is the output. So how I'm getting 30? I'm returning A plus B. See, some of students asked about explaining this in Code Ready Studio. Na? Those students, is it okay to you now? I'm just stopping the screen for just seeing your response back. Any other queries you are having? Any other queries you are having? If you had any other query, I will try to make it to my max. Can you share the project? Okay, I will share the project. I will do one thing. Actually, in chat window, I couldn't able to share it. I will share it in the group from your faculty. You will get it. I will share the project as well as project is sample project only. Okay, all get to put to post and all not there. Okay, but it will work like how you should do. And then because since you asked the project, I shown you project. Another one I had explained you today the file na that file also I will share you. Can you explain the difference between path param and query param? Maybe path and path param. See, path param we will use when we are having path like slash 10. You are having na slash 10. That one you have to pick it. Then you have to use path param. Okay, but then you should have first to slash 10. Then only you can use path param. Okay, in the path it should be slash flower brace of ID. Then that flower brace of ID will be slash 10. That 10 only we will use. Okay. So I'm stopping my lecture here. Next class will be continued by Dinesh sir. Uh, okay. Dinesh sir, are you there? Like you are continuing like continuously?
I produce.
I
Sir,
will
am I
share
audible?
you the document. I will share you the document. Dinesh sir, are you continuing now continuously or have 5 minutes or something like that?
No, sir, we can continue, sir. Not an issue.
Okay. So students, I'm just leaving. I will share you this project, sample project file and the document which I shared to you. Okay. In the faculty group. From the faculty, you will get those. Okay. Thank you. Dinesh sir, I'm leaving.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Just few minutes, guys. I'll start the session. See guys, am I audible? Yeah, fine. Thanks for responding. Okay, fine. Okay, guys, the session is from 3 to 5. So I don't think so. For the context dependency injection and qualifiers, it will take that much time. So I won't take much time for your Sunday. So don't worry about it. So first of all, we are going to see the last task in your questions. You may get so many tasks. Okay. So I hope you all aware that we, the faculty, have already attended the exams and we got qualified. So in such case, now the questions has been changed and scenario has been changed. So as a caution, I'm just telling this before starting of session itself. Don't hear your peers' thoughts that this is the question, that is the question. So you can simply do study only this thing, then you go and attempt. You can do that easily. You can clear that and all. Many uh, things you may hear, but don't believe that. We assured with the Red Hat people itself, the scenarios and questions has been changed. So prepare well for the exam. Okay. And of course, even if the questions are changed, it will be like uh, questions will be changed. The topics and the template of the exam might not change like that we are expecting. In such case, you will be starting with the questions related to bean validations, and it will proceed with so many topics. And then it will wind up with CDI and qualifiers. That will be your last task in your exam if they are following the same pattern. Okay. So in that case, CDA and qualifiers are there as your last topic. So that only we are going to see now. Okay, first of all, we'll see the concept based, and then we'll see in CDA and qualifier if you got any questions in your Red Hat certification exam. So how you can able to face that? That we'll see at the end. Okay, first we'll see as per the concept basis. Okay, so what is this CDI? CDI is nothing but context dependency injection. Okay, so it is a one of the specific feature in your JW. Okay, so is my screen visible? May I get some response, at least one? Yeah, was fine, fine, fine. Okay, fine. So actually, without CDA also we can write, but that will not be your loosely coupled. Actually, when we are going ahead with perfect programming practice, we should write a program in such a way that loosely coupled, right? That is a good programming practice. It should not be a tightly coupled way. So CDI provides an opportunity to write the program in loosely coupled way. So how, in the sense, so we'll see some examples to understand what is dependency injection. So what is the role of some annotations in the dependency injection, followed by dependency injection, what is qualifiers, and what is the role of producer annotations, that and all we'll see. Okay, first we'll start with dependency injection. Okay, so don't panic with this much line of code. I will simplify this. So I don't want to take much time to type, and you also can wait now. So I just already typed the code and I executed. It's so I'm displaying the code for explaining the same. Okay, so first of all, I'd like to say that why we go for dependency is like for loosely coupled. So what is that loosely coupled? So what is the use of that dependency, that we'll see now. So first of all, so dependency injection is nothing but injecting an object to an another class or object. Okay, so why we need to do that? Already we all know that how to create an object in a traditional way, right? So while creating an object, what is happening? We are going to create, while when we are declaring an object, only an object will create with a null memory. When we are defining an object, the object will create by allocating the memory for the particular class of that object. Okay, in such way only our object creation is happening. So we used to call it as class instantiation, right? That's what your process of object creation. So at that time, what is happening behind the screen? So when we are creating an object, there is a memory is creating. At that time, we are going to invoke the class which is already defined in somewhere else. So for example, I'll write a code here. I'll have class ABC is there. So within that, I have some methods. Okay. So we'll say some methods are there. Next, we have some other class XYZ. So within this, I can use the object of this class. Okay. Actually, we cannot initialize here as it is a members of class. So we will initialize over constructor because constructor is there to initialize our data members of the class, right? So what is the data members of the class now? Our data members of the class is nothing but an object of ABC class. Okay, so I'm going to initialize with so this is how I can give an initial value to the particular object of an another class from an another class. Okay, see here, this is an class. We will call it as dependent class. Okay, so this class ABC is an another class, and this class XYZ is an another class. So what I'm doing here, I'm going to create an object for my ABC inside my XYZ class. Okay, in such a case, so when I'm doing this thing, what will happen? Just memory will be allocated for this A. Only the memory will be allocated for this A. Sorry, only the A will be created. A object will be created, but there won't be any memory will be allocated. It will be allocated to null. Okay, so when the memory will be allocated, when we are using the new keyword, that time only memory will be allocated. But actually, we won't use here, right? Because this is members of class, we cannot initialize this here. Where we can initialize when we are having the members of class, so that members can be initialized with the constructor of a particular class or else a method of a particular class. With that only we can give a members of a class. So in order to give an initial value, let us consider instead of ABC, if I have int a, I want to give a initial value to a int a, where I can give through the constructor. Either it may be a parameterized constructor or it may be a non-parameterized constructor. So in that way, I can give a initial value to my variable I. This dot I equal to X. So this is how I'll give an initial value to the variables, or that means data members of a particular class. Here, one of the data member is nothing but an object of another class. Okay. So when we are going to do this, there will be a memory will be allocated for ABC also here. So in that case, ABC we have now we are implicitly invoking the object of ABC. That means the class ABC is implicitly invoking. So without that implicit invoking, we can invoke it automatically when we are having a when we are going to implement the concept of dependency injection. Okay, let's see what is that, how we are going to do that. So here what I'm going to do is like, I want to show you different types of dependency injection. See what we have seen here. So what we have seen here, we are going to give the initial value. That means we are going to assign a memory to a particular object over a constructor. So that means it is a constructor based dependency injection. Constructor based dependency injection. Okay. Constructor based dependency injection. So next, instead of the constructor, we can give an initial value over a method also. I hope you all aware of it. See, instead of this constructor, I'm not using this any constructor here. Okay, so now I'm having the method called set. I hope we all know that setter, getters and setters, right? So I'll use void set data abc x comma int, okay, x1 comma int x2. So here I'm going to give an initial value. So okay. So through the method, we are going to now what we are doing, we are going to assign the memory to a particular object that is A, which is belongs to the class ABC. That is going to be done based on the setter method, not with your constructor. So this is constructor. Previously, what we have seen is the constructor based. Now what we are seeing is the setter method based. Okay. That is a one way to invoke your classes using the setter method of injection, dependency injection. So we'll see that with a proper example. That's not an issue. We'll see that I have already drafted a proper example for that. But anyhow, in order to getting into the uh, insight of what is what, so I'm just explaining this here. Okay. So before that, morning, I got a message that due to the internet connectivity, it looks like the sessions are going in a speed way. So now is it okay or is it much speed? Yeah, that's fine. Thanks for your confirmation, guys. So now, so now the setter method we have seen. So we have seen first of all constructor based dependency injection. And later we have seen setter method based dependency injection. Okay. Next, one more thing is there, that is field based dependency injection. Okay. So now we'll see one by one what is constructor based, setter method based, field based dependency injection. In order to give an examples for each and everything individually, I crafted an example which can demonstrate all these three types of dependency injection. Okay, let's see that from the start. Okay, this import will and all will happen when you are using control space. All these imports will happen. These two things are not like. Okay. So now, first of all, how I can use this inject keyword. Of course, your dependency injection is playing on with the annotation called @inject. Okay. So with this only, we are going to play with the dependency injection. Okay. First of all, we'll see. So first what I'm doing now, I'm going to create an interface. So first what I'm doing, I'm going to create an interface. So now what I have done, I created an interface. The name is greeting service is the interface name. Of course, in interface, we don't have our declaration, sorry, definition of a method, right? In interface, anyhow, we cannot have a definition of a method. So I just declared a method which with the signature void greet string name. Okay, so just a method declaration is completed. So I have created an interface and then within that interface, I declared a method. So when we are declaring a method, it has to be defined where I'm implementing that interface, right? So let us see that I'm going to implement that interface. So now I'm going to implement the created interface here. Let's save this in Java source manner so that you can, it will be easy for you. Okay. So this one is then I already created one interface. Next, I created a class which is called simple greeting service class. There I'm implementing the created interface. So if I'm doing the interface implementation in a particular class, of course, I need to define the method which is abstracted way declared in my interface, right? So in that case, I'm defining the method. What is the definition of method? You see here, void greet string name. So void greet string name is the parameter. So I'm receiving the name from the parameter and I'm displaying the hello concatenated with the name. Whatever the name I'm receiving as a parameter, that I'm displaying as hello concatenated with the name. Okay, so this @ dependent and all don't bother about now. I'll explain. Okay, so now simply you see, I have created an interface. Next, I have created a simple class which implements the interface which I have created. Within that particular class, I define the method which is declared in the interface. Okay, now if I want to use this method, what I have to do? I need to create an object for my simple greeting service. Then only through that object, I can use this greet method. Right? And that way only we can do. See what we are going to do. I'll just show you one second. First, let's start with constructor dependency. So let's start with constructor based dependency injection. Okay. First of all, see what is constructor based dependency injection. See, constructor DI is a class name. Okay, in this class, what I'm going to do now, in this constructor DI class, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to create an object of the initialization instantiation towards simple greeting service. Through that object, I'm going to access this greet method. So this I'm going to do with the help of dependency injection concept. So what I'm going to do here, see, private final greeting service GS. Greeting service is nothing but your interface. Greeting service GS. Okay. Private final greeting service GS. Now what I'm going to do now, I'm going to perform the dependency injection, that too over a constructor based dependency injection. See, this is an object of a particular interface. Okay, this can be initialized through a constructor. So how I can initialize, forget about all these things. I'm just deleting this as of now. Forget about all these things. Let us consider a non-parameterized construct. Okay, I am just having a non-parameterized constructor. So how I can give, let us assume this is a members of a class. So when the members of a class is declared within a constructor, so I need to give an initial value to the particular members of the class. So that I'm going to achieve over a constructor. That is the usual logic, right? So now I'm having the constructor, public constructor di. It is nothing but a name of my class. So it doesn't have any parameter. Let us go in that way to understand what I'm trying to do. So here I have this .gs is going to be initialized with the initial value of a particular member. So what would be the initial value of the particular member? As it is an object, the memory allocation with the new keyword, that would be the initial value of the particular member, right? So I'm going to assign a memory. That means I'm going to allocate the memory to the GS. But GS is nothing but my interface. So through the interface, I can invoke the memory of the class simple greeting services. So what I'm going to do, see, new simple greeting service. So in this way, I'm going to give a initial memory allocation to the particular object, that is GS, which is belongs to the greeting service interface. Okay, in this way we can give a initial value to my data member. But instead of giving this, I'm going to use the concept of dependency injection. So how I'm going to do in the sense, public constructor, I'm receiving the object from the parameter. That object what I have received from the parameter, that is going to be assigned to a object of a current class. Okay, the object which I'm receiving as a parameter, that I'm going to assign as an initial value to the object of the current class. Okay, so here the dependency injection is playing its role. So after that I have its own, because it's a class, right? In that class I have, with the constructor I have initial give a initial value to my data members. That is fine. So next I have a its own method, the class own method. So that is nothing but public void greet user string name. That is also I'm receiving in the parameter. That name I'm going to pass to the greet method of a simple greeting service through the object created by the greeting service. So see here, gs dot greet of name. Okay, so I received the parameter here and I have passed that parameter name to the greet method, which is through my gs object. Okay, so this is how your dependency injection plays the role. But as of now, we have not used the dependency injection. See how we can implement this. In this thing, we need to identify which is the dependent class. Here, the dependent class is nothing but the simple greeting service. So simple greeting service is our dependent class, where I'm going to use this that means where it needs, there I will use it, right? So where it needs, it is in need of constructor di class. So how I'm going to use it? With the help of inject annotation. So since it is a dependent class, I'm going to annotate it as a direct dependent. Okay, since I'm going to, I have annotated this as a dependent, I can inject wherever I want. This dependent class I can inject wherever I want. So see that how I can inject it, with the help of @inject annotation. Okay, so public constructor di greeting service pgs. So this dot gs is nothing but the current object, which is equal to pgs. So here I'm using the @inject. What is happening here? If I'm not using that, the manual implicit so the manual implicit instantiation will happen for greeting service object. But since I'm using the @inject here, so this will automatically instantiated by the uh, container. So when it will, because of that, what we are achieving, we are not declaring the object of greeting service. We are going to inject the object of greeting service. Through that, we can achieve the automatic instantiation instead of implicit instantiation. Okay, so that is what the benefit of your dependency injection. Okay, so this is constructor based dependency injection. So here we have done with that. So we'll see what is our main method in order to play with that constructor based dependency injection. So constructor based dependency injection is done. So now we are going with main method. So class main method open, and I have some lines of code, and after that main method closed. Okay, so what I'm going to do here matters a lot. See what I have done already. I created an interface, and after that I have created a class where I have implemented the created interface, so that what is the method declared inside the interface that has to be defined in the class where that particular interface has been implemented. So I have defined the greet method by stating that whatever the parameter value I'm receiving, with that I'm printing hello, that parameter value. Right. So that is the simple greeting service class. So now my interface is created and its associated class is created. So now what I'm going to perform a dependency injection task. So what I'm going to do here is I have another class constructor dependency injection. Here I have created an object for my interface. Through that object, sorry, for that object, I want to give a memory allocation towards the instantiation of the class where that particular interface is implemented. Okay, so see here, so greeting service GS equal to new simple greeting service is the thing which I need to do. But I'm doing it here over a constructor based dependency injection. So that means here object is created. That object is going to be initialized with the constructor mode. So public constructor greeting service PGS is the parameter which I'm receiving as an object. So, and then that parameter based object is going to be assigned to the object which is present within the class called constructor DI. Okay, at this time I'm using the @injector. So after that I have its own method, that is greet user method, which will receive a name as a parameter, and then that name parameter will be passed to the greet method over the with the help of objects created within this class. Okay, so now I'm having the main method to to coordinate with all the tasks. So what I'm going to do here, see, first, I created the greeting service because I'm going to, when I'm creating the constructor DI, I need to pass a greeting service object. That is the usual thing, right? So this is the class. In that class constructor, I'm having some parameter so that the value of the parameter can be passed to at the time of object creation of the particular class, right? So how I can do, like, I can do like constructor DI object name equal to new constructor DI and the object of a greeting service. That's what I need to pass, right? So for that, I need to create an object first here, right? So see here, greeting service G1 equal to new simple greeting service is nothing but a class name. This is nothing but an interface name. So this, we are going to create an object for the interface by instantiating towards the class where it has been implemented. Okay, so now after creating the object for your interface, that I need to pass towards the object of my constructor DI, right? So constructor DI CDI equal to new constructor DI of G1, which is nothing but a object name. So now with this constructor DI object, I can access the method of greet user. right? Of course, I can access. So con di dot greet user, and what is the name which I need to pass to the greet user. So I'm just passing Sanjaya from the constructor based dependency. So it will display like hello Sanjaya from the constructor based dependency. Okay, so this is what constructor based dependency injection. Do you guys have any doubt in constructor based dependency injection? If no, also you can type no. May I get some response, guys? Okay, that's great. So now we are going to see what is setter based dependency injection. That is very simple, right? So that is much simple. It is similar to the constructor based dependency injection. I'm not going to change anything. So let me see. Hey, it is annotation. Annotation is Deepika, it is annotation. Annotation is nothing but we will use only the smaller cases at the rate inject. Okay, so first of all, I would like to tell you one thing. Just since this query has been came, so whatever it is in your exam, don't type. This is what I am telling to all my sections also. So whatever it is in your Red Hat exam, don't type that word completely. It is very much suggestible to choose the thing from drop down wherever it is possible. Of course, the user defined values or if a user defined text, you cannot choose from drop down. That is fine. But whatever it is, if you're using at the rate in injector or at the rate not null, or when you're typing public void string, okay, when you're typing at the rate produce consume. So whatever the annotations which is related to rest also, you just type one or two letter. After that, press Control space and select it from the drop down. That is very much more important. Okay, because when you are not going to be, you are not going to develop a project. You are going to be fix the bugs which are available in the project based on the given task in your exam. So in such case, there will be already some libraries have been imported. When you are going to use an @inject, you should choose it from the drop down because the @inject will be available in Java X dot index dot some header file is there. I'll let you know. @inject is available at Java X dot inject dot inject. Okay, within that only @inject we can use. So you don't need to import it. Just type control space. You can see the inject, right? Just double click on it. That is enough. Automatically this will be imported. Since it is there, it came. See here. Just @inject. You can do it automatically. That particular file will be imported. Not only for injector. It has to be done for everything wherever it is possible. Okay, I'm sharing only Notepad. Okay, okay. 1 second, guys. See, here I have @injector, right? So I need to give a @inject here. Let us go with the constructor dependency itself. I'll come to your point. You need a sample task, some 30495, right? Surely I'll explain with sample task. Before knowing the concept, you're simply going for the task. You cannot understand, right? Yeah, without inject annotations also object will be assigned. That's what I am telling at the first time itself. Without inject annotations also object will be assigned. That is an implicit assignment. We want an explicit automatic invocation. For that purpose, we are going for inject. Okay, so I will tell you here. See, here I'm not using inject. So here I'm using the inject. So you can use it from the drop down. Like that you should do for every process in your exam. That is much more important so that the associated library file will be invoked here. Okay, so that is one thing which I would like to convey. Next, I'll come to your sample task. I couldn't see your name, 30495. I'll come to the sample task soon, don't worry. Next, so I have injected here. We have to write the code or we have to select where we need to keep those annotations. So that's what I'm telling. It depends upon your query. As on till the last before month, it is in a situation that you need to give an annotation. But we don't know what question will be come for you guys. Okay. As of the last before month, just annotation is enough. They will. I'll show you the sample task so that you can understand it clearly. First, let's discuss about it. So this is how we have implemented the constructor dependency, constructor based dependency. Next is setter based dependency. I'll just use the same. I'll just have another class where I can go ahead with the setter based dependency injection. So I'll just add a few more thing in the same example, that is setter based dependency class. Here I have a setter based DI. Previously in constructor based, I use the constructor to give an initial value. Okay, here I'm using a method, setter method to give an initial value. That is the only difference. I hope you guys I can understand it, right? So I hope this class is understandable for you guys, because instead of constructor, we just used method to give an initial value. That's what we call it as setter based injection, setter method based dependency injection. Okay. In such case, how you can utilize this in my main method? See here. This is setter method based dependency injection. So first I created an object of my interface with the instantiation towards the class where I have implemented the interface. And after that, I created a setter based DI class object, because within that only I'm going to perform the injection operation and I'm going to call the greet user method. So setter based DI, set DI equal to new setter based DI. Now set DI dot set greeting service of G2. This is nothing but my setter method. See, this is nothing but my setter method. So through that only I'm going to set the object of the greet service to the setter based DI class. Okay, now set di dot greet user of Justin from setter based di. So what this name will, what this parameter value will go now? The parameter value will go here, and then it will be passed to the greet method of a GS object, which is nothing but get greeting service object. Okay, which has been initialized to simple greeting service class. Okay, so this is how we can go ahead with setter based dependency injection. Next, do you have any doubt in setter based dependency injection, guys? Okay, fine. Next is field based dependency injection, which is very simple, guys. I don't need to okay. Next is field based dependency injection. Okay, so in this field based dependent once I couldn't get what you have messaged. Venkata Pavan Sai, I couldn't understand your message. One simple over on injection. Okay, you brief your simple explanation on a previous topic. Yeah, it is nothing but a setter based injection. See, we have already done a constructor based dependency injection using constructor. So here we are giving the initial value initialization to the object over the constructor. Next, we are giving initialization value to an object over a setter method instead of constructor. If it is a constructor, I need to pass the value at the time of object creation. If it is a yeah, I will show the execution, but the problem is I can show the execution till setter based DA. But for field based DA, I need a J2W environment, which need to be configured with many dependencies and many servlet has to be written over there. So till this, your Java SC will execute. But when I going to work on with field based DA, there I need Java to J2W environment, which needs to be invoked with several dependencies and servlet. So anyhow, I'll show the execution. Like that, it will come. Okay, since we have two things in our main method, it will come like that. Okay, when comes to the field-based dependency injection. So first, what we have done, we have give a initial value with the help of @inject through the constructor of a particular class. Next, what we have done, we have injected. That means we have given an initialization towards an object with the help of inject annotation through the method setter method. Instead of constructor, we have used setter method. Next, here we are going to use the field-based dependency injection. So what is this field-based dependency injection? You don't need to pass your objects here and there and all. Just define your object, inject it, just use your method as usual. No need to do anything. Just define your method. See, here also just declare your new field-based object. With that object, I can call the greet user from the message. Okay, this is what field-based dependency injection. So this is what the complete thing about dependency injection. Next, at the end, after seeing the qualifier, we will see how this dependency inject, how you may get a task over dependency injection, how we are going to write an solution, that we will see. Next is qualifier. So why we need qualifier? So any idea about the dictionary meaning of qualifier? Any idea about dictionary meaning of qualifier? Okay. So qualifier is nothing but we can use it for two ways, right? In order to tell that this qualifies for something. For specifying that matrix, we can use the qualifier, right? So this will be the qualifier element. So if that thing satisfies this qualifier, so it will be qualified for XYZ. So like that we will tell. Another thing is we are going to give a name marks to the particular thing. Okay, so this is a qualifier of XYZ. That is the qualifier of ABC. This is the qualifier of 1, 2, 3. Like that we can name it, right? So we are going to take the second meaning in order to work on the qualifiers and its implementation in our J2W environment. So see what is qualifier, and followed by we have producers also. First of all, we will see qualifier. So whenever we are having the interface, for example, I'll remove this. I want to give you the explanation step by step. So I'll remove this. Okay, whenever I'm having, for example, I have the interface called some XYZ. This is the interface I'm having. I have the interface called XYZ. Next, I'm having the class A
class B, class C. Three classes I have where I have implemented the record interfaces. So all these thing I have implemented the record interfaces. Okay. So that means class ABC has been implemented with the common interface. So the common interface is implemented with many classes. Okay. So what I'm going to do here, where my qualifier helps me now, the qualifier helps me to annotate that the invocation is going to be happen by the from the A, or the invocation is going to be happen from the B, or invocation is going to be happen from the C. In order to differentiate that in my compilation and runtime environment, I'm in need of qualifiers. Okay, so see how now you understand the outline, right? See with an example what is happening here. So I'll just have a payment service.java. This is nothing but an interface. It's just an interface. It is just an interface. So within that interface, I have an abstract method called process payment. I have an abstract method called process payment. It is just an interface. So this interface is as like XYZ. It is an as like XYZ. So this XYZ is implemented in ABC, right? Like this payment service is going to be implemented in 2 or 3 classes. So what are all those classes? We'll see. Forget about annotations. I'll explain. See here. This is an interface, payment service is an interface, and this interface has been implemented in credit card payment service. Okay, so this the like XYZ, how our XYZ is implemented with ENA. So like that, our payment service is implemented in credit card payment service. In similar way, the same XYZ has been implemented in PayPal payment service. Okay, how this XYZ implemented in A and XYZ is implemented in B. We have implemented our payment service over the credit card payment service and as well as PayPal payment service. So in the two different classes, we have implemented the same interface so that I need to define this. I need to override the method which is declared inside my interface that has to be override within the class where it has been implemented. So here I'm overriding with the display method system.out.println processing payment with credit card. And here also I'm overriding system.out.println processing payment with PayPal. Okay. So next, so like the interface is implemented in two different classes. So I'm using that two classes in a common consumer class. I'm using these two different classes. These two different class is going to be used in my consumer class. So that is nothing but payment processor. Okay, these annotations and all, we'll leave it. I will let you know. Okay, so in this payment processor, so I'm going to create an object for my interface, that is payment service is the interface name. Object name is, we keep it as PS. PS is the object name. So PS dot process payment. Okay, so what is PS? PS dot process payment. So ps.process payment means it has to call the process payment, but the problem is here two process payment is there. Under the credit card payment service, one process payment is there. Under the PayPal payment service, one process payment is there. So which one it has to be called? So if it is our usual injection process, I can inject it accordingly from the main method. But here we are not using that also. So how I can specify which process payment has to be called with by the object of payment service, because it has been implemented in two different classes. That I can resolve it using the qualifier. That's what my main role plays by the qualifier. See how I'm going to qualifier is nothing but we are going to set a name to this class, and also we are going to set another unique name to this class. Here the name is nothing but a qualifier name, not your class name. So here we are going to set on qualifier name for the credit card payment service, and we are going to set a qualifier name for a PayPal payment service. So with that qualifier name, we can differentiate which payment service has to be invoked here. You understand the concept behind? Got it, guys? Yeah, that's great. Now let's see how we can specify the payment, how we can specify the qualifiers. See this example where I have not deleted anything. First and foremost thing, @ named annotation is used. And after that, @ credit card qualifier annotation is used. But do you think that credit card qualifier annotation is there in our Java? No, it is nothing but a user-defined annotations. Okay, let's see how to create that user-defined annotations at the below lines of code. First of all, let us see. So here, @ named annotation is used. Then @ credit card qualifier annotation is used, as it is a new user-defined annotations for a credit card payment service. Next, named annotation is used, and PayPal qualifier annotation is used for the PayPal payment service, where these two different service classes has been implemented by the same payment service interface. Okay, so here we have mentioned @ named @ credit card qualifier. Here we have mentioned @ named @ PayPal qualifier, right? So now how to create this user-defined qualifier, how we are specifying the names to that qualifier while creating the user-defined qualifier, we'll see now. See, the credit card qualifier, just discard this import statement. It will automatically come when you're working on it. So credit card qualifier.java. Within that, I'm going to annotate it as qualifier, and the retention should be runtime. Public @ interface credit card qualifier. It is not an interface. You are annotating the interface, @ interface. See, it is not just interface. Then it will be a interface. See this icon. See this icon. This is interface. Payment service is the interface. See, this is interface. And credit card payment service is nothing but a service class. Okay, which has been annotated as named credit card service. Okay, so like that, I have specified credit card payment service and PayPal payment service. With the user-defined annotations, I have named it. Next, you see this credit card qualifier. See the icon, it is @. So it is not your usual interface, it is an annotated. We are going to create a user-defined annotation. So the target for your user-defined annotation is, it can be a type, it can be a method, or it can be a field, or it can be a parameter, whatever it is. For everything, this qualifier will be suited. Okay, so public @ interface credit card qualifier. We have named it as credit card qualifier. So wherever I'm using the credit card qualifier, that time this credit card payment service class will be invoked. Okay. Similarly, I have PayPal qualifier. So wherever I'm using this PayPal qualifier, the PayPal payment service dot Java class will be invoked. So now let's come to our example. Now come to our example. See, private payment service PS, and I have a process method there, PS dot process payment. So this PS is nothing but a object of my payment service interface. Payment service interface. Okay, payment service is nothing but an interface. For that, we have created an object that is PS. Through that object, I can access credit card class and as well as PayPal class. But with the help of qualifier, here I'm injecting, that is first process. Next, with the help of qualifier, I'm going to specify which class object must be invoked here with the help of inject annotation. So here, since I used credit card qualifier annotation is given to credit card payment service class. So that object will be invoked here. So how the, if this is not there, how the line will be like, payment service PS equal to new credit card payment service. So like this, we need to give as a implicit way of invocation. Since we are using the qualifier, we can give like with the help of qualifier and also with the help of inject annotation. So now you guys understand what is the use of qualifier, right? So the we are now next we are going to see the producer, but producer does not came into the previous set of questions. I don't know whether you guys will get question in producer or not. But even though as a topic, I would like to convey. So producer and qualifier is almost same, but it's completely different. So here for what we are using qualifier, we are having a single interface which is implemented in many classes. In order to decide which class has to be invoked by the interface object, we are going to use the qualifier. So when it comes to the producer, we have many different classes which are not related with an interface. And for example, see here, I should. Okay, first of all, before getting into the producer, I would like to show a sample demo of task. Okay, dependency injection task. See guys, like this only you may get a question. 1 second. I would like to. Okay, so here I have dependency injection. So with the dependency injection, what kind of task may come? So for example, I'll just I simplify this. 1 second. See guys, like this only you may get question. So see what they are telling, that this task is depends on messaging. So do not attempt this task until after you have completed the messaging. So like this, you may get many warnings for each and every questions. So what they are telling this task is before doing this task, you must have complete the messaging task. Like that they are telling. So in your exam, what you need to do? You need to do the messaging question. You need to resolve the answer for your messaging question. Once that messaging question has been completed, then you need to come to this task and you resolve this task. Okay, so like this, you may get some alert like complete the task of persistent mapping and then come to the process of validation, or come to the process of named query, or come to the process of JPA. Like that, you will get some warnings for each and every task, because all are interrelated in a single project, right? So you may get one or two project. From that project, you may get a question. So first is a warning. That's fine. Next, what they are telling, the company wants to use the centralized injectable customer service in the smart assistant project. Next, the com dot customer service class should be injectable as below. So what they are telling, com dot customer service class. That means you need to get into the folder of com, and within that com, you should go to the folder of so and so if it is there. If there is no folder, you can see the customer service dot java class. You can see. You open that customer service dot java class. They are telling this class must be injected in this aspect. Like that they are telling. That means where they have created an object for this customer service, sorry, where they have written a code for this customer service, in that they have created an object for a customer. So that must be annotated as @inject. Like that they are telling. Okay, so how you need to give the answer? So you need to identify, you need to open this customer service class, and in that customer service class, you need to search where the customer object has been declared. You search all the places, somewhere you found that the customer class must have been declared. But you know one thing, sometimes you may get, one beauty thing is sometimes you may get to do. So if this is an answer, if this is an, here you need to write an answer now, right? Like that you may get to do comment box. In that you can delete that comment, you can give the code. So what they are telling, this has to be injected. Like that they are saying, they are telling. So what I should do, so wherever the customer object is declared inside the customer service.java, I go there and type @inject. That's it. Okay, so like this you may get any type of questions. @inject might be there, or @inject with qualifiers also will be there. Okay, so like this one I just show the sample scenario, so you may get some different questions. Okay, so once I have done this process, now once you have answered for the particular task, you can see one thing called test your work by run the com.test.injection test. Run the com.test.injection test. So I need to go to the com folder. I need to get into the test folder. In that I can see injection test.java. So you don't need to run your project on server. You just save once you have updated, just save your project and right click on a particular test file. For this task, dependency injection task, as per this question which I have crafted myself. So for this task, you have to run com.test.injection test. You need to right click on this injection test.java and run as JUnit, not your run on server, not as your run on Java application. Run as JUnit. then it will run. There will be a much number of test cases to assess that what you have been done here is correct or wrong. Okay, if that test cases is passed, you can see the green colored property box. If it is wrong, you can see the red color property box. Even if it is a one test cases is wrong also, you won't get the marks for this question. So all the test cases must be corrected. So for this question, that means when I am running this injection test.java, that time all the test case must be belongs to this injection test.java must be executed and it has to be passed. Okay, then you will get the mark for this particular question. So let's see the solution. Customer service, let us see. So within the customer service, see here they told it should be injected as like this. So when we can inject a particular class, the particular class should be a bean or it should be a producible thing. Then only we can inject. So when the class can be declared as a bean, already you guys know, right? When a class can be declared as a bean in your summer term, when faculty have taken about this, right? When we are annotating a particular class as either stateful or stateless, then it will be considered as bean. When a particular class has been considered as bean, so it can be injected anywhere else. Okay, that is the concept behind J2W. So you need to put @inject also, and also you need to search where this class is located in your project and open that class, and you can see the public class that customer service is there now. So open that class, and above that class you need to annotate this as @stateless. Okay, you need to annotate it as @stateless. So customer service must be annotated as stateless, and also within that particular customer service, we are going to use dependency injection for the customer class object. For that, you need to give a @injector. If inject is already there, you can put only @stateless. If @stateless is already there, you can put only @inject. If both are not there, you need to keep both. Okay, after completing your task, you just run this test case in the JU. Got it? You have any doubt, guys? Do you guys have any doubt? Explain again. See, they are telling the company was to has to be centralized, the injectable. So whatever it is, there's some scenario. So here what we need to do is like, we need to inject the customer service within the com.customer service class. We need to perform the injection. In question itself, they told what you need to inject within the customer service.java. See, I don't have the big project as like what is there in your exam. So I'm telling you, just visualize it. Okay. So in the customer service, I'll come to your answer 30832. Okay. Stateful or stateless, I'll come to your answer. Please wait. So com.customer service, it is a class file. So customer service.java will be present in the com folder. So within that, you must see this, because they have told this class must be injected with customer object. Okay, so what you need to do, you need to search with, you need to open customer service.java and you need to search where this customer object is declared. Above that object, you need to keep the @inject annotation. Okay, so it will be done. So we have injected the customer service object in the customer object in the customer service class. That is fine. We have injected. Now Anyhow, since it is a bean, it has to be either stateless or stateful. It is a tricky question for us. Actually, when we are performing injection, we won't think about stateless or stateful. In that customer service Java, we may have 100 lines or 150 lines of code. So we won't think that whether it is stateless or stateful, like that we won't think. But we will just put only at the rate inject when we will run our project. We will run our test case, but test case will not pass. So that time you need to think what is the mistake. So you need to read, see the question from the first line. That time within second line itself, you can observe that class is not has been annotated as a bean. So how we can annotate as a bean? Either stateless or stateful, we can annotate as a bean. So how we will know whether it is a stateless or stateful? When you are seeing your customer service.java, within that, if you have any class data members, if you have any data members of a class, that means if you have declared any variable or any object within your class, then it will be called as stateful. It must be annotated as stateful. If your class does not have any class variable, only methods and constructors and so injections and all there now, that time you need to specify it as stateless. So that's why we have specified it as stateless. That means in your project, in this customer service project, it's for demonstration, right? In this customer service project, there may be no variables declared. So we will keep it as stateless. If the variables are declared immediately after the class definition, so you need to keep it as stateful. So got it? Can I get response? 30832 Venkat Sai Hemant and Vinod and 31181. Yeah. What is Bina? Madhav? Actually, we are day after tomorrow you guys are going to write an exam. Actually it has been covered in your summer term, right? So it is a very basic thing. What is bean is nothing but your Java class where it has been annotated as a stateless or stateful or a managed bean. Okay, when we are annotating it as stateless or stateful, it will be considered as your bean. Next, if you annotate a particular class as a managed bean, now that will be act as a managed bean, which will provide an interface between your front end and your logic class. Okay. So where you wrote the all logic to interact with your database and give the response to your front end over managed bean. Like that we have beans, right? Managed bean, entity bean, right? And session bean like that. Okay, that's what. Next is qualifier. It depends on Manasvi. Actually, I cannot say that whether it is DI and qualifiers are same question or different questions. If it is when I'm attending, it is the same question. Okay, so I don't know whether when you are attending whether it will be a same question or different question. I don't know. Okay, or it might be a same project or a different project also. I don't know. From a single project, you may get two different questions. Okay, from for example, we have two projects. From one project, you may get 4 questions. Remaining project, you may get another 4 questions. Or one project, you may get 2 questions. Another project, you may get 5 questions. We don't know since the questions and scenario has been already changed. We'll see how you are getting questions, whatever it is, but you can give your answer, right? Whether it is the same question or different question, it's not that much, right? So next, see in qualifier what they are telling. So see, this is some scenario based thing that and all I'm not. So here make at the rate so and so class annotation able to be injected is the in the smart persistent unit. Okay. Next, again, make so and so annotation able to be injected in the stock persistent context persistent unit. What they are telling means they are asking us to inject this classes into the so and so persistent unit. Okay. So what we are going to do in the sense, wherever you are having the entity manager which has been defined. Actually, if you see this question, you can understand. But since I don't have the project, I cannot. So since some remembrance, I just wrote this. I don't have the project to demonstrate this because it has been crafted by Red Hat, right? I don't have the project to demonstrate it. And also they have changed this question also. So obviously they don't release the project. So what we need to do now, I need first of all, somewhere in your to do of the particular task, I need to inject this. So how I can inject now? That is nothing but here, wherever entity manager EM1, EM2 is there I need to inject this. So how I can inject? I need to inject com.example.smart persistent context. Here, I'll just put same annotation. What is there in the question, that you can put that annotation before the smart persistent unit. Okay. So in smart persistent class and stock persistent class, you have two entity manager, EM1 and EM2. So within that, you through the I hope you all know through the entity manager, we can access the members of our table, right? So anyhow, when you are writing, when you are going to attend the classes about JPA, Java Persistent API, so you might have clearly understand JPA query. When you are attending the classes about JPA query, you can understand the usage of this entity manager. But now we don't need to bother about it. We need to annotate the entity manager, one entity manager with a smart persistent context, another entity manager with stock persistent context. So just go above the entity manager, just annotate as @example smart persistent context, and above that use the inject to inject that, and another persistent another entity manager is going to be annotated with the stock persistent context, and use the @inject to inject it. Okay, and your test cases. Okay, so this is nothing but your qualifier. This is nothing but your qualifier, which is similar to this credit card qualifier. Okay, so this credit card qualifier is there in the same folder. If it is not in this folder, we will put com dot xyz dot so and so dot so and so dot after that credit card qualifier. Before that, inject we'll use. Like that, we are doing that. So how you will understand that? That you can know when you are seeing your project explorer within this. And if you have another folder, within that another folder, within that another folder, within that another folder, my credit card qualifier is there. By that you should understand that path you should kept there. But unfortunately, they gave the path also in the question. Same path you copy and paste it. Then you run your test cases. Okay, this is what the dependency injection and qualifier, context dependency injection and qualifier. Okay, do you have any doubt? So obviously you will get two more session tomorrow. That means afternoon, since forenoon your skill sessions are going on now. So afternoon you will get two more session, which is about, one second. So you are going to get a two more session, query and entity relationship. There you will understand the concept of, that means there you understand the necessity of entity manager. Okay, so query and entity relationship you will see in the afternoon, and Java messaging service will be seen in the afternoon. So I want everyone I hope now I'm audible to all, right? Yeah, I don't know how many minutes you guys have not heard the thing properly. So I think it is from 4:45 onwards. Okay. So nearly 3 minutes you have not heard my voice. Okay, fine. So I'll repeat the same and I'll wind up the session. Don't worry, guys. It won't take much time. So what I used to tell is like when you are going to be I hope you all heard about till running of your test case, right? So when being open allotted with the system, just go to the particular system and open your go to the particular system and open your code ready studio and open your question, and after that in that question page link you can click on the topics. There will be a list of topics there. You can click on the topics. One second, guys. There you can click on the top. One second. Okay. See, guys, so once you open your question and you can understand, okay, this question is from so and so project. So I want to open that project. Just click on file. Don't open the project. If you open the project will open. You can go to the directory which is mentioned in your question. Within that directory, you can select the project directory and select folder. You can select the project and you can open it. It will work very well fine, and all your test cases also will get passed, but you will be graded as 0. You will not be allotted with any marks. This is what I want to tell, because all your I thought of telling this to all, but nearly 404 members are there, but it has to be conveyed. The faculty will convey in offline class also, because you must not open the project in this way. You must import the project. You must import the project. Click on the import and choose existing Maven project. Click on next and choose your associated project folder which is mentioned in your question. Select this pom.xml and then finish. Okay, in that way only you must open a project. If you are importing and saying that you will come out of the hall that I have completed everything, I'll get for sure I'll get pass. You will not get pass. It must be imported. That is a very first thing you must note. Okay, and after importing the project, you need to check whether the what is the given question. Go complete all the task and right click and after going before writing anything, once imported, just right click on your server, click on start. Okay, it's already started. So right click on your server, click on start and check whether it has been started without any issues or not. You don't need to check into typing some path in your browser, that and all not required. Just right click on your server, click start. That means your server is started or not. That's it. After that, you start implementing your concept. Okay, after giving the answer to a particular question, you should not run your project on the server. That is must thing you should know. You should not run your project on the server. Right click on the specified test case file. See, for this, the test case file is what, com.test.injection test. This is the specified test case file. So that means what, within com folder, within test folder, within that we have injection test class file, injection test.java. Right click on that injection test.java file from your Code Ready Studio and select run as test case. That you should do. Okay, then only your test case will be ran successfully. Okay, and also don't try to solve the problem in between manner. You should solve the problem in one after another, because all are linked and interlinked way. Okay, so this is what the thing which we'd like to convey. So anything, if you have doubt, you can ask, or else we can wind up the session. Grishma, what document you are telling? This one, this notepad files. Okay, I'll share this sample question. I don't have. Actually, this is, we simply drafted based on our when we have attempted nearly to 1.5 years before, 1 year for 10 months before. With that, we have created our own sample thing for student purpose. We just used this only for dependency injection. So sample questions nowhere is available. Dump sample question nowhere is available. Only the way is understand the concept and go ahead with your answering. That is the thing. So does anyone is here? Those are attempting on the first day, first slot. Does anyone is here? Those are attempting first day, first slot. Okay. Okay. Okay, so you guys complete the exam and come and meet me at M108. At least not everyone. Meet at M108. At least 1 or 2 members, you can come and meet me, so that I may get some input about how you have done. So what the questions you might have faced. Okay. So after completing your exam, please come and meet me. I hope you all know my cabin numbers, M108. Not even all, anyhow, the M108 cannot accommodate 50 members. I'll be there at the exam venue. After exam venue, we just come, any 1 or 2 members or 5 members can come and meet me and give your input, so that it will be easy for us to proceed further. Okay. Okay, guys, any doubts? Okay, if you guys don't have any doubt, thanks for your good listening from the morning onwards. You guys has been investing your Sunday for the Red Hat exam. Okay, so we will all the best for you guys. So we will hope the best result in the Red Hat exam. Okay, so tomorrow afternoon 1 to 1:30, I will ask the faculty to start the session. Okay, that link also it will be shared on the time basis. So I want everyone to join in that link. And because the tomorrow you are going to learn about persistent mapping and query, and also JMS. Both are important with respect to grab the more marks. Okay, so don't miss the session. You you guys attend the session on time. Okay. Okay, guys. Thank you so much. I'm going to wind up the meeting. Materials I'll collect from all the faculties, those who would like to share what they would like to share, and I'll share in a common message. Okay. Thank you, guys. I'm going to end the meeting.